Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. Do that. How are you all doing this morning after yesterday's, yeah, how can we say, fantastic day of football, wasn't it? It was exciting if you're a neutral, but if you're a Celtic fan, it was an absolute shambles yesterday. One of the final messages from yesterday is at what point do Celtic fans and the collective ramp up pressure again on our board? If you're watching this back, tell me in the comments. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching the videos. I do appreciate every single person that watches and subscribes to the channel. Just put that out there first. But at what point will fans and the collective ramp up pressure against the board? We've allowed them the whole of this month. We trusted the boards to come together in unity. We trusted the boards to act in a manner that would help improve Celtic Football Club, and they've not. Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay have completely neglected their duty to make Celtic better as a business. They have, by all accounts, been lackadaisical in their transfer dealings. Once again, another window, it's been pointed out. We can go back. I'm going to go back to when Brendan Rodgers had Celtic in America. And we're going to go through the timeline. When we were in America, Brendan Rodgers was asked on, it's been pointed on a daily basis, what's happening with transfers? What's happening with players? You need players in. This was 2 summers ago. 2 summers. 2 summers ago that this happened. And Brendan Rodgers kind of lost the plot. And I said, go and ask them. Go and ask Nicholson and Mackay. He named them. He named them then. And he said that those are the ones that are dealing with it. I have nothing to do with transfer negotiations, talks, anything. Those are the two guys that deal with it. We get through that year. We then sell Kyogo at the Christmas window, the winter window. It's been a year since we sold Kyogo Furiashi. We didn't bring a striker in until this window. Last week. A full calendar year for them to get a striker in. There's a comment come up. He's got a week to prove that he's fit for the job. He is not fit for the job. He is not fit for the job. Nicholson has 1 week to prove he's fit for purpose. He is not fit for purpose, Brown Warrior. It stacks up. If Paul Tisdale can get sacked for bringing in Wilfred Nancy, Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay have to step down now. It's too late for this season. And I mean, anybody that comes in now, entering in transfer negotiations, nice to play the blocking game this morning. Thank you for that, just for coin. Once you highlight them, I'll just block them for the channel. It's the easiest way to do it. But anyway, the fact that Celtic and Michael Nicholson are no way fit for the job at Celtic. They cannot conduct themselves in a timely manner. Nice to see you subscribe to the channel, mate, but you're now gone, so I'll see the subscriber count fall, but never mind. He is not fit for purpose. It is as simple as that. When we look at the transfer windfall that we're about to get, I just hope that we've got a big transfer I mean, the money just keeps ranking up for Celtic. Celtic sold the South Korean forward around about 2 years ago from Celtic. He was brought in by Ange Postecoglou, and he was a bit fed up, the player, because he wasn't getting a lot of game time in front of Kyogo Furuhashi, and Celtic wouldn't change their ways. So Celtic sold him for 3 million. He's on the verge of being sold for £10 million, and hopefully Celtic have a big sell-on clause with that. He was almost sold for 24 million to Stuttgart last year. 24 million for but that deal collapsed as the Bundesliga side got cold feet at the time. Yet we seem to be ruining the careers of players. We seem to be picking up players that are not fit for purpose. And don't even get me started on the midfield at Celtic just now, because the midfield, Callum McGregor he's not up for the fight the way that he used to be. And I felt embarrassed for Callum yesterday to come out and talk after the draw against Hearts, and he was silent the whole time that Wilfred Nancy was here. There was not one interview with Callum McGregor when Wilfred Nancy was here. But he comes out and tells us it's okay, we've still got to fight. We've got to do this. No, Callum, you went missing it. Or when you're the captain of Celtic, you don't go missing when we are going through the worst time ever. You step up to the plate. Callum never stepped up to the plate when Wilfred Nancy was here. He waited till Wilfred Nancy was out the door and then had snippets at him in the media. Whilst during that time, we were losing games. Nobody was speaking out. He's the manager. We need to do what he tells us. Everyone but Callum McGregor. They even whipped out Paulo Bernardo, who looked like he was in a hostage situation. Celtic need to answer. I'm going to jump straight into the comments as well. Celtic are in a race for they're scrambling to get people in the door. It looks like that we're now going for a Norway international, a midfielder. Reports in Norway have saying that Celtic have identified the 24-year-olds. He's registered 4 goals and 5 assists last season, and he's a creative engine in the middle of the park. Celtic need to bring someone in. Rio Hatate, his days are done at Celtic. The sending off in Bologna, his lackadaisical approach to games. I'll start off with Rio. He goes missing in games far too often. I think Celtic are just hoping to run down his contract and get him out the door, because I don't think that anyone with any significant kind of cash is going to come in for him unless Celtic tell his agent, like, mate, just go and find another club. And we're in limbo. It doesn't. We're in a week. We are in a week of complete limbo at Celtic Football Club, where it doesn't matter what we do. Paul McStay would have played no different under Martin O'Neill to Nancy played for the club. Yes, exactly. I'm going to jump through some of the comments. I'm going to jump right through here because a comment came up. Yeah, exactly. And Luke McCowan gets stick. Luke McCowan gets an unbelievable amount of stick, but he was the only one speaking up. He was the only one that came out and said, look, if you're going to play me in that position, I'm going to tell my agent to go and get me another club in the transfer window. Fair play to Luke McCowan, because Callum went completely missing. The squad are letting the club down. They've done it all season. Almighty Games show us who they really are. Yeah, Ian, there's players that should have been punted in the summer that do not want to be here. We're paralysed by greed, misery, incompetence, total lack of ambition, and embarrassing, useless bored. Paralysed by greed, misery, and incompetence. I take it that's just Michael Nicholson you're talking about. Oof. We need a minimum of 2 first-team ready players this week. The custodians know this well. I said at the beginning, I said in December, I said before Wilfred Nancy came in, that we needed 7 players to make the squad better. The squad is too small. If Celtic do not get the red card overturned from yesterday, we're up a creek without a paddle. We are up a creek without a paddle. Do you know the long-term injuries? We've been unlucky this season with the amount of long-term injuries, especially to the back line. Especially to the back line. When you're having to bring on Dane Murray, who's no better than Stephen. Where was Stephen Welsh yesterday? Where was Stephen Welsh? We brought back Stephen Welsh on loan, and he can't even make the bench. Stephen Welsh is bound to be thinking, I was playing every game at Livingston, and then you bring me back here to sit me on the bench. It's like, not even sit me on the bench. I don't even get on the team bus. Now, what is going on at Celtic? It's unbelievable. Will Celtic make a move for Bowie? Paul Hartley hopes that Celtic do make a move for Bowie from Hibs. That would be a transfer that might help us out. But Celtic are never going to spend any kind of money in this window. As much as we would like to, we will not. We will get 3 maximum, 2 loan players. And we're talking about having players that are first team ready. We are not getting anyone that is playing for their team week in, week out in this window. Not a chance. It will be players that are either sitting on the bench and just can't get game time. It's unbelievable. Let's jump back into some of the comments. I believe things when I see it. Who merits getting kept? If you look at the squad, let's look at the squad this morning, and who would you keep? We're going to have a rebuild in the summer. We're going to have a rebuild in the summer because we'll look at the squad and we'll go through player by player. Kasper Schmeichel, he will be gone. This Kasper Schmeichel will not be at the club next year. Sinisalo, will he be the number 1 goalkeeper? Every chance. Ross Dohan, he'll be the number 2. He came back to be the number 2 at Celtic. So if he is third choice goalkeeper, that young lad will be like, why did you convince me to come back here? You're fucking ruining my career. Don't know, he was doing well at Aberdeen. Players want to play football. When you look at the back, Alistair Johnson will still be here. Scales will still be here. Trusty will be here. Cameron Carter-Vickers is questionable because Cameron Carter-Vickers cannot stay fit for a single season. We've not had one season since Cameron Carter-Vickers came to the club that he has managed to stay fit for a full season. And the fact that he had an operation on his knee, he had to go back in for a tidy up operation. We need big players at the club. When you look at the players that are on loan, Julian Araujo, he'll get put back. Marcelo Sarache, he'll get sent back to his club. We'll be left with Dane Murray and Colby Donovan. We'll be left with Tony Ralston, Kieran Tierney, and Stephen Welsh will leave the club because he knows that it is a shit show and Celtic are treating players like absolute crap. And that's the reality of the situation. We might get 2 defenders in. Unbelievable. When you look at the midfield, Does Paulo Bernardo's agent say enough is enough, and it's time for my player to go and get a team that wants to play him, that wants to have him playing week in and week out? Paulo Bernardo, if I was Paulo Bernardo, I'd be like, get me out of this shit show. I didn't come here to sit on the bench. You know, we've taken all the good that was there for Paulo Bernardo, and by not giving him game time, by wasting his career, the former under 23 Portuguese captain, we've ruined his career. Would have been 2 seasons ago now that he last had a good run of games at Celtic. Rio Hatate, he needs sold. Alistair Johnston will be gone in the summer. No decent player would want to come to Celtic. I don't think Alistair Johnston will be gone in the summer, unless his agent pushes for it. But anyway, Bernardo's useless, Baz. Wake up. Smell the coffee. Nobody was saying that when he was coming on as a super sub in the season we had him on loan. If he was useless, why was there such a scramble by Celtic fans at the time to sign him on a permanent basis? Everyone wanted to sign Bernardo. After the Scottish Cup final, when he took the shot, McGregor spills it, Adam Eder slips it into the back of it. Every single Celtic fan were saying that Paulo Bernardo made the difference in that game. Paulo come on and won us the game in the second half. And he done that quite a lot that season. If you're not going to play a player, and if you're not going to give him regular game time, never mind what he does in pre-season, all he's doing all season is just ticking along, keeping himself fit. He's not match fit. He's not match ready. You know, he's not up to speed with games because he's not played all season. We've ruined Paulo Bernardo. As simple as that. Callum McGregor, he's not the player that he was. He's a good player, but we're too easy to read in midfield. And that's on Callum McGregor. We're too easy to read for our opposing teams. That's down to Callum McGregor. Callum McGregor is dictating where the Celtic players pass the ball. We're far too easy to play against. Callum McGregor, his career, his style of football has been ruined by Brendan Rodgers. I'll say it. I think Callum McGregor's style of play has been completely ruined by Brendan Rodgers. Arne Engels, will we take the 15 million for Arne Engels in the summer? And I think that if we get that, take it and run, make the profit. Midfield, 18 million that midfield cost us. It would have cost us more because Benji Negrin was valued at £6 million at one point, and there was a clause in his contract that Celtic knew about, and we got him for 1.75 million. There we go. Paulo Bernardo, there was an option to buy for 6 million. Celtic got the deal down to 3 million. Luke McCowan cost 1 million. You'd say that's fair price for the player. Arne Engels 11. Rio Hatate, waste of money. He's had one good season and then falls at it too much. Forwards, Jota will be back next season. Michelangelo Balak-Wishaw, he will be sold in the summer. Big Thomas, will Celtic take up is it an option to buy or is it an obligation to buy? If it's an option to buy, I would suggest that Celtic will not take up the option because that's the way that we are. Yang will be sold in the summer. He will leave for just over £3 million. He left last summer for £3 million. He will be gone in the summer. Kelechi Iheanacho will be gone in the summer. Shin Yamada needs sent back to Japan. Callum Osmond will be fit next season. Sebastian Tenecte may still be here if he's not sold in the summer. Johnny Kenny will be here. Dies Maida will be sold. And James Forrest will have hung up his boots. Welcome to Celtic in 2026, the summer of 2026. Will be a complete rebuild by the incoming manager. The incoming manager that comes in Stephen Kelly says, send Engels to Germany this window and take the loss. It wasn't going to be a loss. It was going to be a profit. It was going to be a profit. It wasn't going to be a loss. Watched Barlick Wisher for 2 years before we got him. What was that all about? Says Stephen Kelly. 8 million Baz option to buy. If it's an 8 million option to buy, have we seen enough of the player to suggest that he's worth 8 million? I think that it's standard price for a player of his standard. And then you look at the players that are loaned out. Still got Odom loaned out Celtic on the website, where you could see him training. That's another bizarre situation. Hateo Inamura loaned out till the summer. Sell the player. That was a complete bizarre decision to bring him in. Rocky, he has an option to buy, hence the reason he's not back. Adam Montgomery, he's been sent back to Livingston, I believe, back to Celtic. Adam Montgomery, and Lewis Palmer is out on loan. So really, there's only 3 players out on loan from Celtic. Inamura, Lewis Palmer and Rocky. Odomom's back at Celtic. Adam Montgomery is back at Celtic. And he's injured. Well, that's a small squad. That is a small squad. I mean, we've got way too many forwards that are just not producing. Kelechi Iheanacho, how many games has he actually played for Celtic this season? We're at the end of January. We're going into February. He's on tidy wages. Just not done it at all. Yang, the forwards, Yang has been the only bright spark in spells this season. Callum Osmond looked as if he was going to be a good young player. He could still be a fantastic player for Celtic going forward. I think we should maybe build round the likes of Callum Osmond. But it's a crazy, crazy situation that Celtic find themselves this week. That the man who is in charge of negotiations for 4 or 5 windows now. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th window that he is completely ballsed up negotiations. It comes down to Michael Nicholson. But anyway, Barlick Wisher has all the power of a baby's fart. Anybody that rates Engels has not got a clue about football. The guy's a shitebag with very limited ability. There we go. That's in Euros, isn't it? Don't expect much from Jota and AJ after their injuries and time out, says Chris. Everyone said that about Henrik Larsson. Just got to throw that one in there. Everyone said that about Henrik Larsson, Chris, that, his career was, that bad ankle foot going in a direction that was just, still makes me puke when I see the video. I've never watched the video back since then, but players can come back if they have the correct treatment and they have the correct manager that plays them right. But we'll wait and see. Why would Saudi even be an option for Callum? Brendan's team are flying. Signing a guy who's struggling in the SPFL doesn't make sense. I would gladly. I hope that he's not going to go. He's not going to go in this window. If Callum does go, it will be in the next window. Rebuilds every season because of our board. We are incapable of phasing out long-serving, experienced players. Yes, it's true. We need to get the next manager appointment right. I think that Celtic should still go for McKenna. We need someone that's going to look at Celtic as a 3 to 4 year term plan that isn't. The next manager, you're not going to get. If you're going to get a big name manager, it's going to be Sean Maloney's ex manager. And that's it. Any other manager will be, in the terms of the fans, will be a prospect manager. Celtic will look to bring in a manager that can get us back to winning the league, but see Celtic as a 4-year project that will get full control of the football department. Going all the way down to the academy. They will get a free rein if we get the right person. but we also have to get rid of Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay, because those are the two men that are consistently holding back Celtic Football Club. Hatate, McCowan, Bernardo, Balakwisha, Yamada, Donovan, just 6 players not used yesterday. Balakwisha and Yamada weren't on the bench, thankfully. Donovan, he's good. He's got potential. Just need the right manager. You just need the right manager for Donovan. You know, I think that he'll be better than Tony Ralston. Tony Ralston's a bit of you know, he is the bricky. He'll just go through, but we know the limitations. Colby Donovan's just stepped up. It's his first year in the team. You know, let's not knock the young Scottish lad down just because he's just coming into the team. Our B team's a shambles. We should be thankful that Dane Murray, and I'll get slated for this, but we should be thankful that Dane Murray and Colby Donovan have wanted to stick around at Celtic. And I'm not joking, because there's not these two young players could have went, fuck this, get me out of here. I'm not gonna get a run of games at Celtic. But we always shoot the ones that are determined to give their all for us. And Dane Murray and Colby Donovan are in there. They may not be good enough, but you still need Scottish players coming through the ranks at Celtic. We cannot just go out and buy a team. Do you know, is there any Scottish players that played yesterday that we could take? But anyway, 33 players at the club. How's the squad too small? Tell me where the backups is for central defence, Brown Warrior. Who's the backup for central defence? Experienced backup for Trusty and Carter Vickers. Dane Murray and Stephen Welsh. Players that came through the academy. We do not have enough cover of experience. Having to rely on bringing back Stephen Welsh to the club is not the answer for Celtic. Stephen Welsh doesn't want to be at Celtic. He wouldn't have asked to get away. I don't know, it is I've counted 31 squad players. I don't know what two you've got. I've counted 31 squad players. 31 on that sheet. But anyway, we move on. Without Murray and Donovan, we would have to forfeit yesterday's game. Would we? This week we will be telling either the board will firmly back the manager, or it will be obvious they have written this season off after the Nancy debacle. They have written the season off. Tell you that now. They have written the season off. And they're keeping the money that they do have for the next manager. And you'll be lucky to get 2 loan players. But anyway, time for DD to sell up and let a football brain own us. There's not many football brains own football clubs. That's to be fair. Saudis aren't great football brains, are they? Darren Desmond's not going to sell up. He needs to sack Nicholson and Chris Mackay. Can always ask to give the youth a chance, yet we'll look to bring in experience. We don't have a youth setup that are ready. Brendan Rodgers said it. Look, the B team is, because of all the players that have left Celtic, the B team is now four years away from producing on a consistent basis. Sean McArdle, Francis Turley are about the only ones that are ready. Maybe a forward. I mean, there's a player that was on the bench that isn't even classed as B team. He's not even in the B team. He comes through the academy players. Building the pathway, and it doesn't give you the academy players. This is the embarrassing thing about Celtic Football Club. This is the Celtic website. The Celtic Youth Academy give young players the support and developing the skills required to become professional football players. Since 2000 and 2001, 72 players have made the first team. 22 have played in UEFA Champions League. 18 have become full Scottish internationalist. What the fuck are the Germans doing upstairs? Academy teams. Under 18 squad. So the young boy Joseph Haney that we brought on, that we had on the bench against Auchinleck Talbot, was from the under 18 squad. That's unbelievable. He was from the under 18 squad. Not even the B squad. We didn't even have anyone good enough for the Auchinleck Talbot game for the bench from the B team. He had to come from the under 18 squad. That's where Celtic are right now. It is a complete shambles at the club. Ohm's back now, 33. Ohm's not going to get a chance at Celtic. Odom Ohm's not getting a chance at Celtic. He'll be punted in the next couple of days. This season was written off after the AGM. Oh, it's an interesting one. The fans won't do F all. They'll shout about and this and that. But just like the board, they haven't got a clue what to do. Not that Owen would make a difference. No, that he wouldn't make a difference. Any good businessman wants to make money, and keeping the board will not do any good. Sadly, I think the board are hedging their bets, and we'll wait and see if we win the league, or if we win. Martin O'Neill was not going to get. Martin O'Neill has said that's not long. If you're going to even think that about trying to give Martin O'Neill another year's deal, we're just passing the buck down the line even further. We're not rebuilding Celtic. Martin O'Neill said, doesn't matter what happens this season. He could win the double, he could win a treble. He will leave. He will, for definite, not be here. And after this transfer window, Martin O'Neill is not signing any kind of contract with this incompetent board. Not a chance. Doesn't matter how friendly he is with Dermot Desmond. There is no way with Martin O'Neill. He's been here before and went through this pish 20 years ago. Martin O'Neill left Celtic because he was not getting the backing. He's not getting the backing now. Not protecting the board, but how many first team players do we have out injured? It's unbelievable. Yeah, it is unbelievable, but you know, you still have to bring players in to cover them, and you have to get them in quick. We knew at the start of the window what we needed. You know, we've got days left. We've got a week left in the window now. It's countdown timer stuff. It's panic station stuff. And don't say it's a difficult window to get players in. Hearts managed to get players in. Rangers have got players in. Aberdeen got players in. There's other clubs out there getting players in. This season's is over and it's on the board. It is that Chris coming from Australia says the board won't spend in the summer either unless they offload the dross first. We unloaded the dross last summer. They were right off the season before. They wrote off the season before it started. It'll be screwed. We'll be screwed for European qualifiers. And the start. Yeah, you can write off Europe next season. You can write it off. We'll be lucky to get the Conference Cup in Europe. You're going back to Ronnie Dyla days. Johnny Kenny, calf strain yesterday. Yep, he is ruled out. And then you've got to ask, who do we play? I mean, we've not even got onto the question of who plays on Thursday. And do Celtic throw the game on Thursday so that we don't have any more games in Europe? It's a serious question. Do the players do the unthinkable and get beat by Utrecht, who haven't won a game in the Europa this season? Just so that we can concentrate on trying to salvage the league. I don't think that would be acceptable for anyone at Celtic. What's going on in that? That's removal day. Neighbours are moving out. Celtic Youth Academy has become more or less obsolete because the 2012 club approach has changed to buying players to develop for resale for profit, hence the exodus from Celtic by many. You have guys that just can't do the basic football, can't make their passes, can't keep their hands down. Yes, this is true. It's very true. Let me just jump on this, see if there's any. Interesting. I suppose there's one thing that we could take from yesterday. We had a record that was a phenomenal record at Celtic. We had since 2021, we had 86 free kicks on the edge of the box, and we hadn't scored a single goal from the free kick. 86 opportunities since 2021 to score a goal from a free kick, and we did yesterday. I suppose that is the positive that you would take out the game yesterday, but other than that, don't know. What about the young lad, Frame, left back, Mitchell Frame? Was he not released by the club? Yeah, he was released. Yeah, he's gone. He was released by the club in the summer. Unbelievable. But yeah, he was released by the club. The only ones that are potentially any good is Ben McPherson or Ben Summers. So Jude Bonner, another one could possibly step up. But he's not on the list. Pathetic defending from Celtic. Yep, Hail season's finished. I don't think it's finished. There's still a lot to play for. The discontent between Dermot and the board has caused this. The board can't buy unless DD sanctions it, but he's not here and emails take ages. Your transfer system is a shambles. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much is a shambles, but 10 games, 3 goals, any actual home cannot last a full game. Due to illness, I think his pro days are over. He's still training at Celtic, but whenever else. Not a hope Martin O'Neill would stay, be off his head. There's no chance Martin O'Neill will stay. Not a chance. Martin O'Neill's been thrown under a bus. He's been sold down the Clyde on a banana boat. That's what he's done. Seriously, at this stage, can you see a high quality manager wanting to be the Celtic manager with this shit show at Celtic going on? No, that's how you. Our best option for a manager next year will be Sean Maloney's contact with his ex-manager, and I think that bringing him in will be too late. Roberto Martinez is the best manager that we can hope to get in the summer. Other than that, I'd go down. If I was Celtic, I'd still go down the road of trying to get McKenna from Ipswich. He's the type of manager that we need in. Someone that will see Celtic. Martin O'Neill said it. After having his talk with Dermot Desmond, Martin O'Neill was asked to come in, and Martin O'Neill's not going to lie. He's not like Brendan Rodgers. Martin O'Neill said, I've been asked to come in until they can find a manager who will see Celtic as a 3 to 4 year plan so that we can build something at the club. But anyway, yeah. They will. They'll probably just go, do you know what? Like, Martin, do you fancy it? Fuck off, mate. You mad? Are you mad? The Yangs and Ohms and O's have pushed the youth prospects back down the food chain. The board focused on selling them for profit. Dembele's, Vatas, Dokes effed off to find a chance elsewhere. That's true, mate. Spot on. And we all know it. Don't know that you're bang on with that. Would they have made Celtic any better? Would Rocco Vata have been any better? He might have put his heart and soul in it. Would Daniel Cummins been any better? I think he's had a bit of an injury this season, but he decided to go off. Daniel Cummins, I think he's a different kind of player to what we have here at Celtic. When folk are out injured, you bring in a replacement. You don't sit picking your arse doing F all. No, don't say what you're going to say. Can anyone that's good at editing edit Michael Nicholson doing a Pokeball wank? Too early in the morning for that. I know. I haven't even had coffee yet. Celtic are in the mix for Player FC. Yeah, that's all we are. Sevco will scud us in March. I don't think so. Scales and Trust there are like dumb and dumber in the defence, not the answer. Scales has improved vastly as a player. Don't know, but he pulls the shirt far too many times, and he made some cracking saving tackles yesterday. Don't know, he made some cracking saving tackles, and so did. Next summer, I'll be flirting with Kuhn on loan. Rough as a plumber's estimate. I don't even want to talk about the sending off because every time that I look at it and you slow it down, which they do in VAR, you can see that the player was going over whether Trusty touched him or not. But anyway, automatic qualification for the Scottish champions will only happen if Scotland go back to the coefficient of top 10 ranking. We will help out the Hearts and Rangers. Surely Desmond to find Nicholson and Mackay. 2 more games in Europe means more money. It'll be 3 more games in Europe because if we win against Utrecht, you've then got the TV money. It'll be 2 more games when it comes to home gate receipts. But then what if Martin O'Neill does the impossible? What if Martin O'Neill does what Martin O'Neill does and gets us through to the last 16? The board are going to go, see, we got it right, told you so, losers. That's what the board will do. We'll be the 10 and 6 champions. Ay, Jesus. That's Germans moving out, mate. Hope it's not Huns moving in next door. It's Germans moving out. Just double check. Yeah, it's the Germans moving out for next door. If Sevco win the league, they'll go straight into the Champions League with Otto Co. Then they get 40 million, and then it's game over for Celtic. It's not game over, but the good times are gone, and we're back to a competitive league. And some will say about time. We've had a good run at it since 2016, 2026, 10-year run. It's very difficult for clubs. I mean, since 2000, we've been the dominant team in Scottish football. Since 2016, we've had an easy run at it, and the board have got away with blue murder. Makes you think if they've got blue cards. You're still in the same situation, 6 points behind. Only difference is Rangers 2 ahead. Still everything to play for. Says Stephen Kelly. Hopeful. Let's see if you're still hopeful come the end of the transfer window. Let's see if you're still hopeful come the end of February and the first weekend in March when we get beat by Rangers. Funny how they brought up that stat, free kicks manage one. Yeah, they brought it up right as Celtic were taking that free kick. Just as Celtic were about to take it. Celtic have had 86 free kicks and not scored one. Bang them down. Up steps Celtic. Boom. The board needs emptied. Yeah, it does that. I see Nicholson getting a boot in the... I can't put that up on the screen. There was someone arrested for online abuse for aimed at a board member. The board have allowed this, and if Sevco get the Champions League money, our board wouldn't respond. Our ship has sailed. Yeah, it says green smoke. Right, I'm going to jump through this. What time is it? So we've been on for 47 minutes this morning. Fantastic. So we've managed to rank that out. It was a bit quieter this morning than normal. Monday morning. Sky TV is the new Rangers TV. Yes, it is. Why was there an ex-Rangers player and they would say, look, we had Darren O'Dea there. Why was there a Rangers fan at a Hearts Celtic game? Do you know, usually the third person is has no affiliation to the club. And they didn't. It's just a Rangers fan. We're playing Sevco, who's the top goal scorer, the Tav. To me, isn't that... The board need to go suck balls. Sick of them now, says Michelle. Morning, Andrew. And the first comment you see is the board need to go suck balls. Sick of them now. As Andrew just comes in this morning and goes, oh, I think I've maybe gone onto the wrong channel. Will we call out cheating beating? No. Celtic never do. When was the last time Celtic called out a referee? Never. Martin O'Neill will do it in his snidey little way that he done it, but the board are never going to do it. Not a chance. Not a chance. Boyd's comments about Celtic getting the red card, he said before about penalties. I suppose he's never non-biased. We know that. Arne Engels is a total fraud. Martin needs to stand in front of the whole squad and ask who's with me or just picking up a wage. Oh. Bottom line for me is we were playing bad, win that game yesterday, and without VAR and officials interfering, cheating. No, we would have won the game if we kept everyone on the pitch. The referee all game was just champing at the bit to book Celtic players. Do you know, he was just champing at the bit. Trusty in so many in our squad, only playing a handful of games since they have signed. Yep. We need to scrutinise Celtic's tactics the last two games and not blame anything else. Well said. We knew that Hearts. We said before the game, if you watch the game, the team news game, we knew that Hearts were going to set up with 5 in midfield. We were going to set up with 3 in midfield. You've got Callum McGregor, who consistently is now just Brendan Brawl style. He doesn't know any other manager's tactics. He turns the ball and he puts it back to Scales. Scales, when Scales is having a shit show of a game, he takes 4 or 5 steps or he hits it back to Kasper Schmeichel. Same reason Ajax Hun player did the draw for the Scottish Cup. Yeah, we all know about that. So obvious that they want the scum to win. Not my comment, just Magnus's comment. We need fresh legs. Yes, we need fresh legs. And the transfer window. Yes, that transfer window. It does close. Including today, we'll say tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. 7 days to... it's too late. We needed the players in before Hearts. Bringing in fresh legs, whilst may help us, I think that the... I think that the damage is done with that game yesterday. I really do. The ref had a bet on 32 red on how many players would get booked, more than likely. Fed up now, everyone mentions team injuries. They're just working hard to win. To them, they are fit and beat by half an injured team. There's no way this squad goes deep in Europe and competes for a title and a cup. No, it won't. But Martin O'Neill is really good at motivating players for a European game. He's really good at trying to get players to believe that they can do it. The issue is the bread and butter. Don't know, the players, whilst players might get up for it, as they say, when it comes to a European game, be right up for it there. This is the level we came to Celtic play. Yes, we're right up for this one. And then you come to a game against Hearts where you know you need to fight. You know you need to dig in. And the issue is that we don't dig in. 27 free kick the refs give them yesterday. Celtic got 8. Yeah, they were... Listen, I said on the live I said last night that Derek McInnes, whether you like it or not, Derek McInnes has got Hearts playing like Rangers from the 1990s. I'm going to see it. And that'll be the last time I see it. Our defending at set pieces is terrible. Look at the goals we concede from them. Yes, terrible. Is there any mention of more players coming in? There is a mention of the fact that we're in for a Norwegian player. Norwegian international. Reports in Norway say that Celtic have identified the 24-year-old midfield player. We've identified loads of players. If we're to talk about... we've probably... I think that we've identified about 20 players this window. But anyway, bit worried now if we qualify for playoffs in Europe, could affect the league. Will it from Thursday? Yes. Blue cards will get more frequent. Yes, it will go. It will definitely. And I'm going to wrap this video up this morning. We're on 54 minutes. Heard Welsh was sent to Pound Shop yesterday to pick up a packet of Desmond. I believe Dermot Desmond and O'Neill will have a conversation about signings after yesterday. No, they won't. Brown Warrior. Dermot Desmond doesn't have anything to do with the day-to-day running of the club unless it comes down to getting a manager in. He doesn't even pick up the phone to say, yes, spend £4 million. It's ridiculous that we need to even ask his permission to spend on players coming in. Identify but no offers. We have conmen on the board. Yes, we do. We do that. Anyway, let me just do a quick check. Any updated Celtic news? Oh, no, don't do that one. See if there's anything out there this morning. Not really. It's all going to be about the game yesterday. That's all the news is. Little snippets. But other than that, Celtic aren't doing a thing. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. I will be back later on this afternoon, might do an afternoon update. Just talk about players that really need to ask themselves some questions. And then we'll be back with the live at 8 o'clock tonight, Celtic part time. On that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. Try and have a fantastic day. I know you're not, because a defeat's like a draw at Celtic. And the fact that we're down to third in the league, it's just gutting, isn't it, really?